The process has just begun, got it up on the lift, and we will be now taking the tie rod ends off and getting started on the steering rack. And be documenting the whole process from start to finish. And after you get your wheels off, you're just gonna wanna go ahead and get this 22 millimeter off, take the tire end off and count your revolution. Okay, so far the job has been going smoothly. We got everything off. We got this bolt off and loosened. Pretty much everything is loosened on the rack. The spline up here is one tricky part. That's different on the 2000 actually from the 02s and newer, so something to pay attention to. But yeah, we're about to have this rack off and get the new one installed. So I'm gonna show you guys the real nitty gritty. Honestly, the hardest part and the only part we've gotten hung up on so far with getting the old steering rack out after getting the lines and everything and this bracket out is obviously the spline right here. You have to work the spline out and use pry bars, kind of whatever you can get on it to give you a clear shot here. This little point is where the spline, and I'll show you on the new shaft, goes into the steering rack and pinion, and it's pretty hard to get out, especially if your rack has been in there a while. This one's been in over 200,000 miles. This is the OEM rack. And in the video on YouTube, a couple ones you'll see, a guy makes it look real easy by just using a pry bar and wiggle line. Is not really the reality of it. It's definitely in there. Really hard, and you have to open up the clamp on the side. But yeah, this is the current battle and where we're at. So far, everything else has gone smoothly, and I will show you guys a review of the new rack and what free fab upgrades here. They do an upgrade on your center bushing right here, your U bushing on the side right here. This is all better rubber than what comes in the OEM ones. And this is an OEM rack, so free fab, you send him the OEM core back out of the one we're gonna take out, and then he rebuilds them and upgrades all these bushings. And then here's a spline to give you an idea of what we're trying to get out right now. And once you get this spline out, the entire rack will come out, and then we will start installing this new free fab one. And I know there's some steps I've skipped, but honestly, all the other steps besides getting the spline out are pretty self-explanatory, and there's already really good videos on YouTube that show you that process. So this isn't so much like a how-to remove rack. This is just our process going through it, and yeah, kind of where we're at with the rack process. But looking forward to getting it off, and the lift has definitely been helping a lot as well. Current update, I know I wasn't able to have free hands to show you the hardest process of getting this old spline out right here. As you can see, it's pretty rusty. This thing's been in here for 25 years and 209,000 miles. You can see how shot the ends are, just super loose, loosey-goosey, versus these brand new ones from Free Fab are extremely stiff, pretty hard to move. And we're gonna do the technique where you measure from the very end of this to the casing point to figure out, where the old rack is at, because you have to turn the spline and be able to shift the rack exactly how the old rack was. If you watch like the TRQ video, they explain that pretty well, which I think is the best method to do it. So we're going to turn this spline until this is 14 5/8 from the casing. But yeah, pretty happy with how the new Free Fab is looking overall. And advice and tips on how we got this spline out, which was a little bit of a process. Can't exactly show you how we did that, but I can give you an idea. We had a big pry bar. We had one person pry. So this is also definitely a minimum of a 2-person job doing a rack. And this is up here where the spline was in, and we're gonna have to put the new one into. And we were able to get a pry bar on the side and then have one person with kind of almost a chisel and a hammer hammering against it right here where some of these marks are. And then prying downwards with opposite pressure. And it was definitely a process, but once we did that, we were able to yank the splines out and get it out. So now we're gonna just go ahead and install the new rack, get everything adjusted. And I'm not really doing, like I said, necessarily step-by-step process, just because I'm partly doing a lot of this. So we're gonna go ahead and get this turned. And I wanted to show you guys a little important detail here. This is the old rubber O-ring that is you know, going to be on the end of your brake line. I'll show you where that goes. And then this was clipped to the new free fab. So he does include those, just mentioning that. And I'll show you what you take those off of and where exactly they go. So these are going to be the steering fluid, I mean not brake line, yeah, steering fluid line, and this is where this little rubber, and you're going to take it off from the inside, if that will focus here real quick. Take it off from the inside of this. That will refocus here. I don't know if it's going to, but anyways, yeah, if you can see this little lip right here, you're just going to be able to pop that rubber off. There we go. Pop that rubber off right there, and then we're going to make sure you clean that off with some cleaner, rub it down so it doesn't affect the rubber, put the new rubber on, and then we're going to continue with getting the new rack installed. Okay, so officially just wrapped up the steering rack job. Just want to go over some key points and things I learned along this process and share them with anyone that's doing this. First off, Freelance Fab did do a great job as far as, you know, this is the OEM housing, everything in the packaging box you do get. You get, you know, the little rubber washers I mentioned for the steering fluid lines. He does upgrade all of the bushings and rubbers for every washer, and the U bushing especially is a major one. Really everything went relatively smoothly on this job besides getting the old spline out, or getting the spline out on the old steering rack. That was pretty hard, but getting it in, you just grease it and it goes in pretty smoothly, and everything else went pretty well. So this is what it looks like when it's all in. You can get the torque specs online, but 96 for this one, 103 for the middle one, and 123 for the bracket, and then 103 for the tie rod ends as well. So, but yeah, everything went smoothly, and we're now gonna pretty much lower it down. So just wanted to make a conclusion for the steering rack video. As you can see, kind of taking it on a little dirt road here, nothing too heavy, nothing too, you know, extreme as far as off-road goes, but still a little good test that has, you know, quite a bit of bumps and just, you know, something that's not concrete. I've already put 1,000 miles on this rack since the initial install, so I'm wondering, you know, just how to do a road trip immediately after putting the steering rack in. But so far so good. I have to give a shout out to Freelance Fab for, in the first place, making these steering racks. For anyone with a Gen 1 Tundra or Sequoia, you know, you might be aware that you can't really find these OEM at a dealership at all, so that can be really difficult to be able to find that. That's why I went with Free Fab, to be honest. That was my conclusion of, first off, he had, you know, the best option rebuilt, and he did a great job. And like, this video wasn't, you know, supposed to be a step-by-step. I know there's little steps with the install and removal that I wasn't able to fully show, but overall everything went smoothly. The package had everything in it that was needed, and it's working great. My truck feels a lot more stable. The alignment's good. When I am going off-road and kind of hitting those little bumps and rivets, you know, in a dirt road or anything off-road, you're gonna feel a lot more stable. Big reason I chose to go with the steering rack, you know, people might have seen, you know, yeah, this isn't, you know, the most perfect Gen 1 out there. You know, I'm sure if you're in the Facebook group, there's, you know, a ton of immaculate first gen builds of guys that have put way more money into their builds than me. And I know I have a little bit of rust on my frame. It's nothing too bad at all. But yeah, mainly just wanted to focus on the fact that, you know, this steering rack is able to really be a great alternative for Gen 1 Tundras and Sequoias. And I'm really happy that, you know, there is such a strong community around these trucks and people out there that want to take the time to rebuild these OEM parts, because if I couldn't get this rack from Freelance, I'm not really sure what I would have done. I wasn't trying to spend $1,500 on an OEM one from a dealership. And yeah, make sure, another tip I would give you is, after I got my alignment, I'll show you on this side, you can see the rubber booting that is right here. I'll try to really get up in there. It can kind of contort a little bit, and
move around after they do the alignment, I would just really advise to get under here and check and make sure that the rubber booting on the outer end that connects to the tie rod is fully connected well. And yeah, I mean, this is my initial review. I'll be doing kind of probably a 10,000 mile review of some other parts I've installed on this truck. And just kind of wanted to do a little overview. I mean, this is kind of, the truck's come a really long way since my last YouTube video. I didn't have this bumper on here. The grill was a different color, you know, and I've just been able to do a lot to this truck since last YouTube video, and I've had a lot going on, so I haven't been able to upload initially as much as I wanted to when I made this channel. But I definitely am now, you know, trying to commit to at least giving you guys an overview of everything that's been done on this truck. I'm personally really happy with the build. I have the topper now. I used to not have the topper. I just painted the line on the bottom of the topper, fixed that. Really stoked with how this topper came out. Got a great deal on this. This brand they actually don't even make anymore. And I used plexiglass on the back. I was kind of give a little review on that. If anyone ever replaces this mechanism system, that's like, you know, this little window, I guess, and rear door latch of my topper was popped out when I bought this topper. That's part of the reason I got a good deal on it. I actually just did my own job of reinstalling it and installed plexiglass, which is a lot more clear than tinted glass, and I really like that for the rear panel, so you can actually see out of your topper really well. And you know, I know this truck has been an epic build because this is more of your almost, you know, budget. So yeah, I hope this video really helped anyone out there that has questions about the steering rack for the first gen Tundra or Sequoia. And you know, if anyone has any suggestions for add a leaf packages or leaf springs that they're running on their first gen Tundra, please add in the comment section. I'm looking to do these add a leaf package or leaf springs here pretty soon. And yeah, overall really happy I was able to get this video out. I know it's been over a year, a long time since I put anything out, but I'm just mostly trying to grow the Instagram page and still the YouTube page, as I do have some big ideas for this truck. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment what ideas or what you would like to see on this truck next. And I will catch you guys in the next video.